Dear students, in the last class we have already discussed the generation of computers, that is first generation and second generation. Okay. So once again I have to revise the first generation computers. In the first generation computers, so they have to use the vacuum tubes. So vacuum tubes are the basic component of the system. Okay, and it requires the large area. And the example for first generation computers was ELIC, electrical numerator integrator and computer. So this is the example for first generation computers. And in the second generation, so they have to use the transistors. So instead of vacuum tubes, so they have to use the transistors. And as compared to the first generation computers, so they were more powerful, reliable as compared to the first generation. And it produces the less heat as compared to the first generation. The example for second generation computer is IBM 1620. So this is the second generation computer name. And this is ELIC is the first generation computer name. Next is third generation computers. So in the third generation, they have to use the ICs. So here ICs indicates the integrated circuit instead of transistors. So they have to use the ICs. And in the ICs, there are n number of transistors. For example, 1 to 100 transistors in a single ICs. And smaller in size, monitors and keyboards were used in the third generation computers. The example for third generation is IBM 300 series. IBM 300 series. There are a number of examples are there. Okay, so just you have to remember one example. In the fourth generation, so the microprocessors introduced. So here microprocessors were nothing but the CPUs. So presently we are using the fourth generation systems. So it is in a single IC, it consists of VLSI. So here VLSI indicates the very large scale integrated circuits, VLSI ICs. So in a single IC, it consists of 100 to 1000 transistors, and the microprocessors were introduced in the fourth generation systems. And as compared to the first generation, second generation, third generation, more powerful, smaller in size and reliable. These systems have much faster as compared to the previous generations. And the last one is fifth generation. So the fifth generation computers is mainly related to the artificial intelligence. Okay, because it consists of 1000 to 2000 or 5000 transistors in a single ICs. And it uses the ultra large scale integrated circuits. Okay, and the fifth generation systems were mainly used in the field of scientific fields, robotics. If you want to develop the robotic technology, so you have to use the fifth generation computer. That concept, the fifth generation system concepts are nothing but the artificial intelligence. So it is a one type of concept. So it is mainly related to the research oriented science and technology. Okay, so these five are the generations of computers. Next is classification of computers. So classification of computers. The computers are classified into general purpose computers as well as specific purpose computers. General purpose, second one is specific purpose. See here, first one is general purpose. So the general purpose systems are nothing but the, so we have to use this system for generally any purposes. Specific purpose means particularly the software or the system is used for that purpose only. For example, so in your home, if the system is there, that system can be used n number of users. For example, family members. So the name itself indicates the general purpose. General purpose means either you can use it for the game purpose, either you can use it for the documentation purpose. So whatever it may be the use, so you can use it generally. So that indicates the general purpose. So specific purpose means the system is mainly used for the some specific operations, some specific task. So that is nothing but the specific purpose computers. So based on the operations, again the computers are classified into, first one is analog computers, second one is digital computer, third one is hybrid computers. So based on the operations, again the computers are classified into three categories. So first one is analog computer, second one is digital computer, third one is hybrid computers. So here analog computers are nothing but the physical quantities or physical devices. Okay, for example, voltmeter is there. To check the voltage, you have to use the voltmeter. In the same way, emitter. Here, voltmeter and emitter are the devices. So whatever can measure the values, that is in terms of analog data. It is not in terms of digital. So analog means manually you have to see the data, see the values. Those devices are comes under the analog computers. Second one is digital. So here digital means everything will be in terms of digitalized. For example, in a system, so whatever you can feed the data into the system, so that can be converted in the form of zeros and ones, because the computer knows only the one language, that is machine level language. So here machine level language indicates the binary data, that is zeros and ones. For example, if I enter 5 in a system, but for the user it is 5 only. For the system, again it is 5 only, but this 5 is stored in terms of zeros and ones. That is 1, 0, 1. 5 is equal to the 101. So how it will come 101? Because this 5 is converted into binary digits. Okay, in the second chapter, so we will discuss the data representation, that is nothing but how to convert the values from decimal to the binary, binary to the decimal, decimal to octal, decimal to hexadecimal, like that. Okay, so here 5 is stored in the system in terms of zeros and ones, that is 101. So here digital computers are nothing but so whatever you can give the data or whatever you can perform the task, that is completely in terms of digitalization. That is completely in terms of, you will get the values in terms of digitally. So that is nothing but the digital computers. So last one is hybrid computers. So here hybrid computers are nothing but so it is a combination of analog and digital data. The example for hybrid computers are nothing but in a hospital, the doctors want to check the heartbeat of the patient. Okay, so manually they have to test the patient. Manually they have to test the patient, but whatever the result, whatever the heartbeat will come in terms of digitally, those devices are comes under the hybrid computers. Okay, there are three types of computers based on the operation. First one is analog, second one is digital, last one is hybrid computers. Next is again the classification of computer based on the configuration. Based on the configuration of the computer, again the computers are categorized into four types. First one is microcomputers. Second one is mini computers. Mainframe. Last one is supercomputers. So if you consider the only classification of computer, there are two types of there are two types. So first one is general purpose, another one is specific purpose. So again the classification of computer based on the operation, there are three types: analog computers, digital computers and hybrid computers. So based on the configuration of the system, the computers are classified into four types. First one is microcomputers, second one is mini computers, third one is mainframe computer, last one is supercomputers. Okay, so here first one is microcomputers. So here microcomputers were introduced in the year of 1970. That is nothing but the personal computer, that is desktops. Okay. Presently we are using in your home, offices, schools, colleges, wherever you can go. So usually you have to use the desktops. That is called as PC also. PC means personal computer. Personal computer. That computer consists of processors. Either it may be the 2 processor, either it may be the 3, or either it may be the 5, or either it may be the 7. So it depending on the configuration of the system. So here, suppose you want to purchase the system, you can check the configuration of the system. How much RAM will be there, and what will be the hard disk, and what will be the processors. Okay, so for example, initially starting with the dual core or Pentium quad core, like that. Okay, so dual core means two processors will be present on the CPU. Present in the CPU in the same way i3, in the same way i5, in the same way i7. So here microcomputers means it was introduced in the year of 1970. So that is nothing but the personal computers also. And in microcomputers, 1 or 2 processors will be present. So 1 or 2 processors will be present. Either it may be 3, either it may be 5 also. So the example for microcomputers are PC, laptops, etc. And what are the uses of microcomputers? So why we have to use the desktop? Why we have to use the laptops? For documentation purpose, we have to use the desktops. For gaming purpose, we have to use the desktops. For watching the movie, so we have to use the desktops or laptops. Okay, there are n number of uses are there. So whatever you can perform the task, whatever you can use this system, so that is the one use of that is the use of microcomputers. So second one is mini computer. So it was introduced in the year of 1960. So mini computers. So mini computers were introduced in the year of 1960. And here mini computers are more powerful than the microcomputers, because mini computers are mainly used in the companies, because it consists of a number of employees. So all the employees have the systems, not independently. Okay, so here mini computer means each employee consists of monitor as well as keyboard, not a CPU, because it acts as a client and server. Either it may be the net or it may not be the net. We don't bother about the internet connection. Okay, mini computer means, so this is system 1, system 2, system 3. So all the systems are interconnected to each other, because system 1 can share the system 2 data, system 2 can share the system 3 data. Means wherever you can sit in that place also easily you can get the another system data. Means all the systems are interconnected to each other. Interconnected to each other, but all the systems are not independent, because one acts as a main PC, main system, and remaining are the subsystems. Clear? So that is nothing but the mini computers. Third one is mainframe computers. So mainframe computers were introduced in the year of 1975. The mainframe computers were large in size, and it also consists of multiple processors, and easily and directly, so we cannot communicate with the mainframe computers. Again, it requires one operator. With the help of that operator, you can feed the data and you will get the result. Okay, and it will execute the instruction fast. Last one is supercomputer. So supercomputers are mainly used in the field of research and robotics technology. Even India has also one supercomputer, that is Param 2000. Param 2000. So this is the supercomputer name, India's supercomputer name. So supercomputers are mainly used in the field of robotics, science and technology. Okay, so in normal system does not have in normal systems not belonging to the supercomputers. Okay, so like this is completely about the classification of computers. So there are in generally simply classification of computer means general purpose and specific purpose. Based on the operations, again there are three types: analog, digital and hybrid. Based on the configuration of the system, again four types: microcomputer, mini computer, mainframe computer and supercomputers. Okay, so again the supercomputers are mainly used in weather forecasting, also in military and defense. Okay, there are so many examples are there for the supercomputers. Okay, so this all about the first chapter. Okay, the first chapter consists of starting with the definition and the components of computer. So what are the components? What are the components of computer? Are hardware, software, data, information and the user, and the block diagram of computer. After that, the evolution of computer. So after that, generation of computers. So after that, classification of computer. So it completes the first chapter. In the next class, we have to discuss the second chapter, that is the data representation. Okay, so here just I have to give some brief about the second chapter. So data representation is nothing but the, so I already told that data. So here data is nothing but the, it is a collection of known and unknown facts. So it means whatever you can feed into the system, that is nothing but the data. So representation means how the data is represented in the system. So you have to learn all these in the second chapter. Thank you.